Hi. Um, Today, I'm going to be talking about the definition of Web3 games to me. Why do I think there's a need for Web3 games? So I'm going to be making a series of videos, and each one I'll keep it around 5 minutes so that you guys aren't too bored. So uh, if we want to say the games without blockchain is Web 2, so then the next sort of revolution would be games with blockchain. And why would games need blockchain? What is the definition of Web3 games? What do I think Web3 games should do? Okay, so first of all, I think as long as you're still games, then it needs to be immersive. And in order for games to be immersive, you cannot go in the middle of gameplay. You leave the game and go to some NFT market and do some trade and come back to the game. That will break the immersiveness. And obviously, you don't want to leave the game in the middle of it and go to your wallet. So I think to keep the immersiveness, the NFT market and the wallet needs to be built into the game store or game wallet. So you're always in the game. So you don't break character. You don't leave the game universe. The art style, the sound effects, everything needs to be of the game's theme. All right. The next one is NFT is only a feature, and it's not essential in the game. So if you don't want to use blockchain, you don't want to use NFT, you just want to play the game, you should be able to do that because it is still a game in the end. And the next one is we use blockchain to ensure decentralized player ownership of game items. So, this is the player's item. The players made this item. He generated this item where he earned this item from the game and it's his. Even when one day the game server is shut down, the game company goes out of business, the game item is still the player's. He gets to keep it indefinitely. Whether there's a game server or game service that can recognize that NFT and display it and even allow you to use it, that's a separate matter. But we want to ensure the player ownership. The next one is player commerce. So if the players have ownership, then they can trade. They can buy, they can sell, they can trade between the players. And I think this is the key in Web3 gaming. In Web3 gaming, the commerce between players is none of the game company's business. In fact, it's none of anyone else's business. So once we have the blockchain, you can trade securely, and thanks to the smart contract, you can trade between players. You can have community ownership. A game guild of 100 or more people can chip in and pull their money together and buy one item, and maybe they can timeshare this item and they can use this item. The players can enjoy that game item 100th, using his 100th ownership. So that's one potential. Guild can own items, and the next one is leasing. You can own something, you can lease it to other people, and when you lease it to other people, you either get rental fee or you get a cut of what the item generates. So if it's a sword, it's a level 10 sword, player lease it from you, and you get 30% of everything that's generated from using that sword. It's just an example. And the last one is I call it paid grinding. Obviously, trading, community ownership, communal ownership, leasing, or paid grinding, these are just examples. I'm sure there will be more examples of player commerce. Paid grinding, obviously is awesome. If you're good at playing games, you can play for other people's account, and you get paid for that. And all of it, if you think about it, this is all commerce from player A and player B. It's none of anyone's business. And maybe the blockchain can take a small transactional fee when some value is created. And I think that's fine. When you use credit card, when you write a check, using your bank, or if you send something wire, over the app or something, there's usually a cost involved. So why should Web3 games be an exception? We can make sure the transaction fee is reasonable, but I think it's reasonable to have some transactional fee because, hey, shit costs money. All right, let me keep going. The difference between Ponzi-nomics and player trading. What's the difference? Okay, so play to earn and play and earn means, hey, I play games, I get paid. Well, where does the money come from? The money usually comes from new players paying for shit. So I'm an old player, I come in and clock in and I play every day and I get some money for it, a few $100. Where does the money come from? Well, it's the new players buying NFT. Well, that's not sustainable. That's not how video game works. That may work for some networking scheme, but that's not how video game works. So if you keep taking the money from the new revenue from new players, give it to the old players, what happens when you get more and more old players and you have less and less new players? Well, that means the play to earn, you get less and less money. And you can see that example in the project Steppen, S-T-E-P-N. So in Steppen scheme, so that's a typical move to earn or X to earn scheme. So first you have to buy a pair of virtual sneakers, and that's like $500. And then as you walk, you get tokens, and the tokens can appreciate. So I used to work for an hour and get $10. Maybe now I can work for 10 hours. No, work for 1 hour and I get $50 because the token becomes more appreciated. Well, okay, that sounds good, but what if more and more and more and more people join this project? They buy the shoes. Okay, the token will get more expensive, and the platform may give less tokens to each individual because now there are more users for that tokens to go around. So that sounds like there's some kind of balance there, but the problem is, we're in a bear market. So people work for an hour to get a buck or less. Then they're like, well, I'm not incented enough. I'm not gonna walk anymore. I'm not incented to walk since I'm not being paid with a meaningful money. So what is he gonna do next? He's gonna sell his virtual NFT. He's gonna sell his virtual sneakers. And if more people or enough people sell their NFTs, the token will drop. So it becomes a dead spiral. And that's exactly what happens to that project. So yeah, don't pay players for them to be in the game. I think that's a really bad way to incentivize players. And this is why a lot of blockchain or GameFi projects say, oh, no bots, no bots. Why? Because if you just look busy in the game, you walk around, you get paid, then a lot of people will cheat. And video games don't reward players for hanging out, for logging into the game. Not really. So that's bad. That's just, signs of Ponzi. So that's a sort of clue, first clue you see. You just get to play and you earn. That's weird. How you can play and earn in the true video game sense is you play the game and you're good at playing the game, or you put in a lot of hours and you get some items and other players want to buy it from you. That's between you and the player. There's no platform or the game company, printing money and give it to everybody that comes in and log in and join the game. So, just use your common sense. Yeah, Ponzi schemes don't last very well, and this is why most GameFi projects don't last for more than 6 months. Most of them don't. And video games that have lasted for 5 to 10 years is quite common. So I would say, we're all industry professionals. We want things to last. We don't want players to feel like they got taken advantage of after the fact. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So just, pay attention. Like, if they're taking revenue from the new users and give it to the old players, that's just a sign of Ponzi. So there you go. That's my definition of Web3 games. Immersiveness. Yeah, and I think Web3 games ought to be on mobile and on Epic Store, and on consoles, on Switch as well, because they keep putting in the business plan saying, oh, 5.2 billion gamers and growing. They're trying to address that market, but in reality, the GameFi community is only 200,000. And most of these guys don't play games. They're make-believe investors. So yeah, I would like to use proven successful game industry business model, revenue model, and on top of that, we empower it with blockchain technology and encourage player commerce. And I think that's a winning combination. I don't see anything wrong with it. And obviously, the way we promote it will be different. You don't want to use the conventional video game industry's marketing methods, buying traffic or using influencers, or traditional marketing. Maybe some of that can still work, but you gotta find your players. So anyway, I think there are more gamers than there are more crypto investors, and Web3 games you should be able to play them as regular games. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video. I say 5 minutes. Now we're at 12 minutes. Leave your comments or questions. I love interactions. And if you guys don't ask me questions, I will run out of subjects to talk about. I'm just talking about the basic fundamentals of what I think things are going. So again, thank you for watching Ahead of the Game. Thank you.